Please welcome the incredible Callan Faulkner.
Woo! The applause.
Yeah, standing ovation. It's like The Price is Right. You're come on down. I should start my own show.
You should. You have it. Well,
So
I'm so excited to be here. You're the best.
What I love about you is like, you just go for it. But you know when you meet these people and they become like friends and they're doing something and it's like you're like I don't know them to be doing this thing. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's kind of like when you meet a Jessica, but she actually looks like a Lily and she says her name's Jessica. You're like, but you don't actually feel like a Jessica. You have the energy of a Lily. Yeah. That was you when I first met you.
Yeah.
And you were like happy. You were fine. You were doing the thing, but now you're like
7 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a C minus.
It was a C minus. You would not make your parents proud in those moments.
No.
And now you're on a mother effing rocket ship.
Yeah. Crazy.
Like you're going so far out of space. Like Katy Perry would be so jealous right now.
Katie's on the show. Honestly, Katie has been calling. I'm like, I don't know if we have room for you. I don't know. We'll see. Renee's already on. We got a whole crew. No,
I don't know if there's room for me. I can't even fit. There's definitely not room for me. I will not fit in those spacesuits either.
Kidding me? You're on it. Oh my God.
I'm on that rocket ship.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's the really cool part is when we do all this work, we're big achievers. We're always looking out. Ben Hardy does this all the time. You're looking ahead, gap in the gain, classic principle. We don't often look back. And we met 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years. 2 years. Met. I was running my real estate investing business. I had a consulting business for real estate investors. I mean, it was fine. Like on paper, if you looked at, this is actually why I talk about using your intuition with AI all the time, because if you put all the numbers into AI and you're like, what should Callan do? It would be like, double down and like, keep going. Like numbers look amazing, like, go in. But that's why you need to listen to your intuition, because I was in that business. I was in my relationship with my ex-wife now at the time. And crazy. Like I can't even imagine. Like it's just wild. It feels like a lifetime. We met, you came down to Naples. We did our PR day. It was the best thing ever. Immediately hit it off. Had the best time in the world. Laughed for literally 40 hours straight. And then, about 10 months after that, came out to your place in the Canadian Rockies and basically decided to burn it all down. Bear down all the businesses. We had such a fun moment. I don't even know if we've talked about it on your podcast. But I was sitting in the kitchen. This was February of 2024. Yeah. February of 2024. And I love to cook. So I was up, we were all up early. We're all up at like 5:30. Like you guys, Kinsey, Steph, we're all on your computer cranking away, like fingers. I'm like, are your fingers okay? Like you had your like one earphone in listening to a podcast, I think, and then taking notes simultaneously. And I was like, what are you guys doing? I was making quiche. I was like making our little egg bake.
Okay, by the way, she's a really great chef.
Yeah.
And like the scrappy kind too, where you can just look in the fridge and you can make the Taj Mahal out of whatever's left over.
It's Renee's favorite party trick to bring me somewhere and be like, watch what we don't need a chef. No, we don't need to pay for the chef. Callan's coming. It's fine. Halfway through, I'm like, a chef would have been great. Yeah. No, so I was making this egg bake. I'm like watching you guys freaking grind your little butts. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You were creating, I think you were creating a PR package for a client.
Probably strategy or something. Yeah.
Probably strategy. You were doing strategy. Steph was writing a process doc and Kinsey was building a sales page. I'm like, is anyone using ChatGPT? And everyone was like, chat what? Like, what is it? I'm like, oh my God. We spent the next, I don't know, throughout the day, probably like 2 or 3 hours.
We ate first.
What'd you say?
We ate first.
We did.
And then we got to work.
And then we got to work. And then we like did a bunch of stuff and then we like had wine later and went back into ChatGPT, the classic move. But it was so fun. I had no idea how to explain it. I was like, it was literally a feeling in my body of like, this is such an incredible leverage tool. I don't even know how to like I just remember trying to teach it to you guys, like, oh God, I don't know. You like put things in and then you just ask questions back and they're all trying to follow along. Like, yeah. And at the end, of course, you started to understand. And then 2 months later, I shut everything down and did my first AI course and had 50 businesses just join in. And
But you made it so approachable. First of all,
it was fun.
It became addicting because I remember even the day after, whatever, you guys were flying out, and it was you, Kinsey, and I. We went to some random hotel lobby by the airport, and we're like, okay, let's keep going, Callan. And we're
You're
tired.
Exhausted.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know if I can keep
I know, I can't keep my eyes open, but let's go.
No, but I built you that prompt where you just put in the name of your clients, the podcast the client wanted to be on, and then the info on your client, and then it would go out and research and why your client was a good fit. And it wasn't 100% perfect, probably like 70% there, but
so damn close. And it made my jaw hit the floor because we had these strategies. So every time I did a PR strategy, so it was kind of like a VIP day. When I first did it, it took almost a month. And then every time I did it, it was like less time. By the end of it, it was like a few days until you showed me Claude. And we started to create projects. And the more that we populated that information, the easier it was to actually build a strategy where I can literally take the previous client strategy, plop it into Claude using my project knowledge base and prompts. And it built the strategy in like 2 seconds. I mean, obviously it was like probably 75%, but it just blew my mind. And I go, there goes my job.
And there she goes.
Yeah, I hope you know. Bye.
Bye. And that's when I'm going to sell my company. And then I did. Yeah. And you know, the cool part, and I think the first question you asked is like, what do we say to someone that's feeling fear, feeling excited, or feeling nervous about it? This is something there's so many possibilities about how we can start using our time so appropriately for what our soul actually wants to be doing and what our highest potential is. I see women, men too, I mean, everyone, every day, I watch them work and I am absolutely, it's like a gut punch watching them work because it's so manual. They're doing everything the long way. It's like watching everyone do long division and they're like, oh my God, I didn't even realize there's a calculator there. Yeah. I can see it so clearly because I've seen thousands and thousands of examples and I've used it, for the last 2 years and I have coached 1,000 people. So it's like, it's clear as day. But the thing I'll say is start using it just for your life. Like literally go to chatgpt.com and tell it this, say, hey, I am nervous. And this is the thing about AI. It loves context. It like stream of consciousness. I'm nervous. I don't know how to use you. You and I don't know each other.
So I have got to date it a little bit.
Kinda like, hey, like prove to me that you're worth my time. Like I have a bunch of stuff going on in my life. I feel overwhelmed. I don't even know what to say to you right now. Like, can you walk me through
Sounds like my marriage? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, literally. I don't even know what to say to you right now. Of like how you could help me, like interview me, ask me 5 questions about what's going on in my life, and let's find a couple ways where you could help me. Maybe you're going on a trip and you need to start researching the place you're going. Maybe we need to build an agenda, something basic. And I think at this point, most of us have probably started to scratch the surface with some of the basic things inside of ChatGPT, which is super, super exciting. And then now comes the next step of building and training AI to think and act like you and not.
What does that mean, training?
So when I think of training, I think we could go real advanced on like machine learning and predictive analytics and all this crazy techie stuff. I'm not talking about that. Okay. I am talking about, let's just explain to someone like a Claude project or a custom GPT. So you can talk normally in ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a large language model. There's a lot of large language models. ChatGPT isn't necessarily the best one. It was just the first one. So everyone knows what that is. There's another large language model called Claude. That's the one Renee was speaking to earlier. We love Claude for content. Content right now, if you look at the large language model scale and the ratings kind of go up and down all the time, Claude still wins for content creation. It is the most authentic human content. I think you can attest to that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's more. There's Gemini is Google's large language model. There's Grok, that's Elon Musk, and the back end is Twitter. It also has really great access to Reddit. So if I'm getting consumer sentiment on something, I love Grok for that. So I'm researching resorts. I want to look on X. I want to look on Reddit. I want to try to find like the real, like what are people actually saying? Love Grok for that. So I'm kind of bouncing in between many. Now, you can go in and just chat with ChatGPT. The problem is that if you go into ChatGPT right now and you say, write me a sales page, and you give it some context, right? Like, oh, I'm launching my 10-week AI course. Here's the transformation we make. It is acting like Google, and it's going to go research the internet to figure out how to write sales pages. And the number one source of information is Wikipedia for frameworks. Yes. So what's going to happen? It's going to go on Wikipedia and it's going to look about sales pages. It's going to build you a sales page based on, Wikipedia is a generalization, but it's just going to be like whatever random thing it found on Google. So that's what's happening right now. Is I call it two different types of people. There's an AI offloader and there's an AI architect. An AI offloader goes into AI and says, write me a sales page. And it's not great. It says words like tranquil and oasis and revolutionary, and there's 1,000 emojis and there's weird hashtags and it says no fluff and all this. You're like, oh my God, all the little dashes in there. I'm like, poke my brains out. I would never read this. This is not helpful. Then there's the AI architect. So they're mostly operating inside of what I call an AI project. So when you have ChatGPT or Claude, you can build a project. So what is a project? And Claude, if you get the paid version, everyone needs to be using paid versions. $20 a month. It is like
if you go to my mind,
dude,
like $20 a month.
I just had someone reach out to me and they're like, I can't do paid chat and paid Claude. I'm like, Dairy Queen for a family of 4 is $40. What are we talking about? I don't know if you have that in Canada. Whatever. Tim Harvey.
We have Dairy Queen here.
I don't know.
We don't have polar bears out our front door.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's so cheap. It's so cheap. So just get the paid version.
Which blows my mind because you think about what it does. And then you look at some of the other stuff that you pay like hundreds of dollars for each month. You're like,
dude, right. It's not even, I think our little brains, especially people that are money conscious, I'm like, well, you spend $40 on things every month that
ice cream, clearly.
Ice cream, blizzards. Okay. AI project. So go back to AI training. If you build a project, you open a project up and you can talk normally with Claude, but there's the two differences. Number one, you can set what's called the project instructions. So the project instructions, I think of a project as like a person. So for example, I have one that's my sales wizard. It's an elite sales strategist who combines Chris Voss's technical empathy, Daniel Pink's persuasive clarity, and the challenger sales insights to deliver immediate high-impact sales assistance. You help business owners close more deals, handle objections effectively, create sales communications. It writes emails, it takes a transcript, and it creates sales call analysis of what we could have done better. It writes proposals. It creates CRM notes, all the things. So I set the role. So who are you? What are you good at? And what frameworks do you follow? In this particular,
like the heavy lifting? It takes the most amount of time.
Yeah, like setting that role and those instructions are like, for example, in the instructions, this is kind of like a prompt. Like there's some tips and tricks to setting this instruction. But for example, at the very bottom, I have it say, I haven't gotten to the knowledge base yet. I say challenger sale default. When you're uncertain about which sales approach to use default to the challenger sale, because it kept defaulting to like, it was always asking me, it kept asking me like, what do you want to follow? I'm like, just default to challenger sale. So getting that dialed is amazing because that is the most important thing. Every time you chat with it, it reviews the instructions in full. Then you have the second part of the project. That's the knowledge base. So that's where you can load in. It's about the size of one Harry Potter book in terms of the data that you can put in there of information. So in my sales assistant, I have Number one, I have like the uncommon business. That's my business. The company overview, the mission, the vision, the origin story, the method, the differentiators, our primary programs, all the stuff about us, the playbooks that we do, our transformation, our mindset, our values, our case studies, our testimonials, our common objection and responses, our competitive landscape and alternatives, all the things that I would train a salesperson on, I load into the knowledge base. Then I have prompts inside of here. So I have a prompt here, and it says, when the user needs help responding to a sales email, use this prompt. And this is a very specific instruction. So when we are responding to a sales email, it's going to run this exact prompt. You're a world-class sales assistant. You write warm, specific, confident replies to sales inquiries across any industry. You keep the conversation alive, clarify value, help the buyer feel seen and supported without being pushy or vague, blah, 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 blah. Here's the tone. Here's the structure. Here's the required information. And do not end with a question, because I kept ending with a question. So now when I go in here and I say, write me a sales page, how much different is this sales page? Now, I wouldn't actually do it in the sales wizard. Let's say like, write me a follow-up email to this call. You grab the transcript of the call, put it in here. Now this response is 90% the way that I would respond to it.
So now it's acting like you.
That's right. And that is how we scale. And that is confidence.
I'm learning this, but also sometimes I get a little bit impatient. And I'm just write me the next podcast episode title for my show. Do it. And then sound like Mel Robbins. And it's like, it will almost verbatim take something from Mel Robbins.
100%. Just like rip her stuff up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, be mindful of that. But I use the project knowledge base in Claude. I love it so much. So essentially it's like you're opening up a project that already has the knowledge base pre-filled. And then you can just build on the content that's already in there. Sometimes it goes off into left field. And you got to bring it back again.
And that's the work, right? Like I spent probably like a good solid 2.5 hours perfecting my sales wizard. But let's talk about what happens now. So my girlfriend, Nicole, helped us with this last launch of our 10-week AI course. She doesn't know anything about what we're doing. I mean, she like kind of knows like, okay, my girlfriend's an AI coach or something. I don't really know. She responded to all of our sales emails. Oh, how was she able to do that? Because she brought the email in and would say something like, here's the email from a chiropractor. They're not sure if this is a good fit for us. Can you make a response? And it would make a perfect response to the email. Hey, totally get it. Hey, we've actually had it. I actually have in here all 250 survey results from last time with all the wins and all of the testimonials from our clients in their industry. So it pulls out exact quotes from the client, like better than what I would do. Like, well, I don't know what they said. And she just ripped them. And then the next version of this, right, is like putting automation on top of it so that anytime an email comes into that inbox, run it through this Claude project and put it in the drafts so that there's already a draft sitting there when she logs in.
Oh, so good.
So
you get somebody who, much like Nicole, doesn't really understand it, can just go in and plug and play.
Well, that's the thing is like we sit here and I think we're like, I mean, we just did a big launch. Mm-hmm. We just did $1 million plus launch for this last cohort with no salesperson. We did not take sales calls. Claudette and Nicole. Nicole doing it. I mean, she's a great email. She's like also amazing and like is so great and knows how to take care of people. But she's not a salesperson. She's just an adaptable, resourceful individual. And now it's so interesting of like the way that we scale business. As I look ahead, like our goal is 20 million. That's where we're headed. It's our next revenue goal over the next 2-3 years. I just need adaptable badasses around me. Sometimes I'll bring in a surgeon or like an exact thing for a moment. Like, okay, I need a surgeon to come in and like fix this thing. But long term, because Nicole's she managed the brand partners. She managed customer success advocates. She was answering sales emails. Like she doesn't have
I had the experience being an affiliate and just how like well-oiled that machine was and jumping on a call with Kinsey and Nicole and just like jumping into being an affiliate. And It's like, I honestly feel like I didn't do much because your team set it all up and I still made money.
But that's
and I
the
was like,
whole
this,
thing. You shouldn't have to do anything. Like you should just, because you have a list and because you have an amazing community that loves you, you should just get paid for that. I mean, that's
turns out I do.
You did.
I did.
I saw the notification go through and I was like, hell yeah.
I totally forgot about it, to be honest with you, because I've been so just like heads down with the event. And then all of a sudden I get this email saying that I'm going to be, my affiliate payment is going to be this much. And I was like,
oh shit,
I forgot I did that. I go, do I tell Dan about this or not?
That is legit mailbox money. So many people in the real estate investing space are like, it's mailbox money. I'm like, no, it's not. You're working so hard to get that money, those $500 every month. Yeah. But yeah, I think people, that's the whole thing. And this is this new, we can go tangent on this too, of like how we're taught to invest, and we're taught to invest in a 401k, and we're taught to invest in stocks, and we're taught to invest in all this. But the real assets, like the quantum assets, are email lists, relationships, networks. Like if you took away every dollar that I have right now, you just erased it and everyone quit. It's like, because I have a great list, a great online reputation, people like you who I've built years of connections with, you just spin it back up. No problem.
That's it. It's like, it's the foundation for anything that you're doing. My friend Sarah Short, she's flying in from the East Coast. I don't think she really knows too many people that are here for the event. And she messaged me and I said, girl, I got you. Don't worry. I'm going to introduce you to all my friends. You're in good hands. And you know what's going to happen? She has the same energy as Jackie Service. And I'm like, all you got to do is make the right introductions and magic happens with these people. So it is the network. I mean, even what Dan's doing with Martell Ventures is 100%. All about the influence is what's creating that wealth.
Oh my gosh. Well, you think about, for him is like, okay, how many of those companies is he legitimately going to do a deal with? I don't know, 1% of the people he meets, probably, maybe 2%. But it's like the other 98% are just the best of the best connections in the world. Like there's probably no one that he's not going to know that's doing something in AI that he's got in his Rolodex now.
Oh yeah, he knows them all, or has got whispers of them.
100%.
It's crazy. And so it is, that's the thing. So like going back to this whole world of AI and how we do it for business, I do want to ask you like a real world applicable problem that I'm facing right now. That
my God, I love
you
hot
can
seat.
help. Okay, hot seat this bitch.
Get to work. Okay.
Here's the scenario. We have to submit our list of attendees for the Pink Skirt Project to our printer tomorrow morning, right? So like looking at the date, it's currently a Wednesday, and our ticket sales close next Tuesday. But in order for him to properly print the name tags of which that we want to use, anyway, so we have this list. And because we did not use the right platform for ticket sales, we've learned our lesson. We had to do manual triaging. So there's people that purchase the ticket name comes through based on the credit card used, but it's not the actual person. So we have this list. Okay. Some of the names on there could be real names or not. So we don't know. And we're kind of
give me an example of like not a real name.
Well, like there's I don't want to insult anybody, but I feel like
make something up.
Right. So like, I don't know. Maybe it's misspelled or misspelled, or it could be like L. Thompson Richardson. And it's is it Lisa? Is it Leanne?
Got it.
So we have like emails, phone numbers, mailing addresses for how can we take this information to at least verify their first name? Is there a way of doing this?
The first thing, you have their phone number?
Yeah. And their email address and their mailing address for their credit card.
Okay. So I think I'm asking myself in AI right now because I have a think like Callan. Let's see what she would say.
Yeah. I want to know what Callan. I want to know what robot Callan says.
This is actually really good. This is really good. Okay. So clay.com. Are you familiar with clay.com?
No.
Okay. Clay.com is like one of my favorite things on the internet that exists that no one knows about.
Okay.
So
now we all know.
Now we all know. Everybody knows about it. This is a list building software that has integrations with like 200 different providers. And on top of it, you can put AI on top of it. So it's like Google Sheets on steroids. So the first thing you would do is you would upload that list of emails, phone numbers, the name that you have into clay.com. And then inside of there, the first thing you would do is first of all, I'm going to give you my clay.com guy. I'm going to say, give me a process to do this in clay.com. So this is actually something I want you listeners to know. I literally went into ChatGPT, and if you didn't have a solution already built, that's fine. I have a custom GPT that has like 30 hours of me teaching AI. All the transcripts are in the back end. So it thinks like me, makes decisions like me. You could literally go into ChatGPT and say this exact thing. I have no idea how to solve this. What are some of your ideas? I did this morning because Nicole has like 4 boxes of valuables to ship up from Orlando. And of course, every moving company is like, you need to do a minimum of a truck. I'm like, well, how do you work this? And they're like, oh, there's a company called blank blank that does that. I'm like, phenomenal.
ChatGPT solved that for you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
The woman on the phone was like, well, how did you find us? I'm like, actually, ChatGPT. She's like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, well, that's a problem.
Here's the link to my course.
I go, sweetie, what's your name?
Sign up.
So yeah, clay.com, create a new table, upload the CSV. You need name, email, phone, mailing address. And then you hit the plus icon, select enrich with clay, find person by email. And then you'll pull, if their email is associated with their LinkedIn profile, that will immediately get that. And then it has a couple other like secondary pieces we could do. We can reverse engineer the phone number. And then we could do reverse engineering on the mailing address too.
I love this. So like our list isn't that big. It's like 300, big enough. And like most names are like, of course, that's Lisa Smith. Of course, it's Callan Faulkner.
Of course.
But there are some like, wait, that was the dad that bought the daughter the ticket, but it's his name. And anyway,
yep.
It's like his name, her email address.
Yep.
Okay.
Clay.com. So then that's the next thing. This is the other thing too. I think people, especially founders, they're like, I need to be able to know clay.com. No, you don't. No, you don't. Nope. No. Clay.com is like all these tools are like big. They're big. My guy, Joel, I found him on Upwork. He's like the number 1 clay.com guy in the world. You give him an hour, he'll figure it out. Like let people help you.
Always somebody there. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm just trying to think of like the listeners in terms of AI. Cause like, I'm sure they dabble in ChatGPT. They dabble in Claude. What is the best way to leverage these platforms? Like you alluded to like 30 hours of essentially creating a bot version of you. Yeah,
we can talk about that. So actually I just did an Automate to Accelerate class right before this, and it was all about operations and process documentation and then building your AI brain. So everyone wants an AI brain. They want a brain that thinks like the founder, makes decisions like the founder, knows stuff about the founder. And I had to break it down. I had to break it to them today. I said, your brain is only as good as the documentation that you've put together. So if you've never documented the way that you make decisions or how you've made decisions or how to do things and what are the things you do when you send an email and what do you look for and what questions do you ask? You don't have an AI brain. You just don't.
It's time to start.
It's time to start, baby. So it's like the worst part is the documentation process. So let's just start talking about that. So let's reverse engineer like building an AI brain. So the first thing you have to do is you have to start documenting your process. So let's do an example. I have a friend, Nikki. She runs a 7-figure hair salon in New Jersey. And one of the biggest issues they have is front desk turnover. It's hard to get someone to sit at the front desk all day long. Gotta have it necessary. So what happens? Some new girl comes in. They have to learn all these things. How do we run the end of the day report? How do we do a salon shutdown? How do we reorder inventory? When do we reorder inventory? How do we communicate with cancellations? What about a late client? All these things that happen, they historically had to start over. Here, do a train. I got to train the new girl. Now, they have this. So the process starts with you have to document all these things. How do you handle weddings? What do you do when someone is 30 minutes late? What do you do? What do you say?
Dan calls this the camcorder method, I think, in Buy Back Your Time, where it's like when you're going to create any SOPs for your business is you go through the motion yourself, shoot a Loom or a video.
That's 100% right. Yeah. Look at that. Okay. She knows this. She knows the stuff.
I know. I'm married to a guy.
You gotta hear it. Yes. So that's the first step. You go on Loom.
Yeah.
Document the process. Here's how you shut the salon down. You do this, this, this. Now with AI, the cool part is that before you kind of had to like have your shit together before you started the video because you have to like make sure you don't miss anything in the transcript. Now you can kind of spitball a little bit depending on how you're doing it. If you're actually like training on a step-by-step process, okay, yes, and you're sharing your screen, 100%. You got to like really make sure you have the process together. But with AI, we can even step back before we record the video and say to AI, I'm recording the process of how to reorder inventory. And I would love for you to interview me with 5 questions about my salon. This is kind of overview of how we do things. We reorder from this site. To make sure that I have my step-by-step plan down for my video ready. Have an AI interview you, you kind of stream of consciousness flow in, you get your step-by-step video. Awesome. Record your video. Then you get the transcript from that video. And then we can use AI to turn the transcript into our step-by-step SOP. What's so fun with AI now is you can tell AI if I said a name of a tool or a technology, please create a link to that tool so that it's really easy to navigate. So then we have our SOP, and I tell everybody the SOP has to live somewhere. It has to have a source of truth. So it could be a Google Drive. I do not care. If that's the Google Drive, it just has to have like, that is the source of truth version. I personally use Notion. That's where my SOPs go, but they have to go somewhere. Then is now we start creating this brain. So Nikki created this front desk assistant. The role is it's a digital front desk. It's designed to replicate the owner, Nikki, on operational standards, emotional intelligence, and on-brand voice. So her brand voice is hilarious. This is her brand voice. The brand voice is warm, modern, high integrity, and emotionally intelligent. Think Gen Z meets millennial confidence with the friendliness of your coolest stylist and the spunk of Sabrina Carpenter.
There you go.
So if you guys want to steal the most amazing tone ever. And then she put in all of her SOPs on the back end of this cloud project, how we handle weddings, FAQs, example client communications, the first consultation, the team, all services, packages, and pricing, and then the voice. So now we have a brain, but it took the documentation process to get.
So do you think that most people just don't do it because there's this kind of heavy lifting at the beginning?
100%. No one wants
and they
to
don't
do
know.
that.
Yeah, I know.
No one wants to do it. I don't want to do it. I hate it. I was in my class today, the SOP I documented was I came home from a trip a few weeks ago and I didn't have my coffee creamer in the fridge.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
You're the worst.
Shelly's job was on the line. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Shelly. For listening to this. Shelly's our house manager. And I was like, this is on me. This is on me. I have not sat down and put my process together of what I want her to do when I'm traveling. I want her to wash and gas up the car. I want her to make sure I have my lemon juice squeeze because I do that every morning. I have my avocados, my nut pod. I always want food for at least 4 days when we get home. A protein, a veggie, a carb. Here's the sauces I like. Here's what I like. You know, the whole thing. So I documented the whole thing. And then now I have a custom GPT built for her where it has all of the numbers to call. So like the AC repair, the handyman, the guy that built the sauna, the landscaper, the sprinkler guy, like all the resources and tools she could possibly need for her job are loaded into her own thing. And so if we go on vacation, it's like, oh crap, what's my checklist for when she gets home?
I love that. So we have the SOPs too. We call it the Martell playbook.
Yeah. There you go.
We have like
great name.
It's all listed. It's all listed in there. And so Betty, our house manager, same thing. But you got me thinking, like, there's a one particular type of bagel that the boys like that's the healthiest option, and she doesn't get them.
Dude, and that's what I'm talking about.
Because you have to go to a specialty grocery store, and it's not like it's that far, but she can get most of her groceries there. I just need to create that SOP. Because sometimes I like come home from her grocery shopping day, like fingers crossed, like, please, did she get it?
Wait, she reads my mind. She does everything and she reads my mind. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's much better at that than Dan is.
Somebody's reading her mind.
She's great. I love it. But
it's a great point. And until it gets to the place, it's like, when it would be so nice if it was just like, she just knows the address is there. She knows you love it. Yeah.
And you can do that for your business.
Oh yeah. for your life. I mean, I think that's the fun part is you guys have done such an amazing job of teaching people and allowing people the permission to automate their life and the permission to bring help and systems into their own life. But it goes without saying that if you're not creating the system and you're just, so many of my friends have tried the house manager or it didn't work. I'm like, well, did you like tell them what you wanted? It's like when you get a house cleaner and they're like, they didn't do a good job. I'm like, what do you mean they didn't do a good job? Like, what does that even mean? Well, they didn't do the baseboards. Did you tell them to do the baseboards? No. Like, well, okay. It's not going to work.
Guess what? You tell them once and guess what happens every time.
Baseboards are damn clean. Yeah. Yep, you could lick off those baseboards. Lick those baseboards.
Well, that's like, sometimes like they'll get so good at doing something and that it gives you the opportunity to maybe notice something else that hasn't been done. So this happened to us over the course of the last couple of years, but our house is so lived in and we always have guests and it's big. Yep. It's hard for one person to do just one day. And so our cleaning person, I don't like calling her lady. It's just like, I don't even know. She's like, she cleans, yes, but she's more than that.
Of course.
Now comes in once a month on top of her weekly to do like the deep cleaning of things because we just noticed, hey, there's not enough time in the day for her to tackle those things. And once a month is great. So there's a system around that. And they have sections of the house that they attack every single time she comes in for those deep cleanings. It works.
Yeah. And it's not, I don't know what it is in a business owner's world, but there's not like a day and a time where suddenly as a business owner or as a person scaling where you're just like alerted that now is the time to start documenting things. It never comes. And if you don't, I'm on one of my calls, one of my clients, they were like, how do I know what processes to document? I'm like, that's like the magic. Like that's your magic sauce. Like that's how you would even get potentially any offer of someone buying your business. I mean, you could never have sold your business if it was just like all in your head, all in Morgan's head. Yeah. No one would have wanted that. No way.
It's all documented. Yeah. Anybody could open it up and they could do
Start running it. Get in the car and run it. Yeah. I think, but a lot of people don't think about selling ever. So it's like, oh, no one needs to know.
But so even the process, like I remember the first time I went through deep due diligence in my last agency being acquired by a much larger company, it was real and it was grueling. And we didn't go through with the offer at the end, but wow, did it ever force us to organize our company.
Wow.
And it's like everything operated smoother after that because they do those little messy things. You know, those things that you just get to it yourself and you shouldn't.
Yep.
Yeah, I got rid of those. You hire people for that or you just don't do it.
Exactly. Let's bring the surgeon in. So good.
Yeah. Bring the surgeon in.
Yeah, just do it. Bring the expert in. Okay, if you'll let me, I want to do a couple more examples of like how every business should be using AI.
I love it. Give her.
Okay.
Wait, but before you go, these two, there's people are listening. I know they want more of you. You have, what are your offers coming up? Because you have something launching in September again, or
yes, that's the next time. So it's theuncommonbusiness.co is the website. If you go to work with us, you'll see our Foundations of AI course is our recorded course, kind of our first step course. And then Automate to Accelerate is the 10-week course. So we do that twice a year. So get on the wait list for that. So if you go to theuncommonbusiness.co, get on the wait list.
I'll put my link. So don't listen to Callan.
Oh, that's a good idea. Don't follow my link. Renee wants to make some cash.
I do. I like it. It just secretly shows up and I'm like, good for you. But when it came in, I was like, go Callan. Like, I was just so proud of you. Okay. So
thank you.
To these examples.
I'll do 60 more seconds on just getting the brain going a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Hiring anyone. If everything from, again, don't just say build a job description. Go find a thought leader who builds great job descriptions, who has data around job descriptions. Make sure that there's the KPIs and the role mission and all the things. This is like that architect position. If you have multiple people that applied, dump all those resumes into your cloud project for that role. Like, hey, analyze them. I'm getting on interview with this person. What are 5 unique questions I should ask them? Get their strengths finder, get their Enneagram, get their human design, plug it all in. Why would they be a good fit for the role? Where are the red flags? Like, use their personality. Same thing. This has been massive for me as a leader. I'm just stepping in more of this leadership position. Doing your quarterly reviews. use their personality tests. Do not go to an Enneagram 1 whose inner child is saying they're never enough, they're never going to be perfect, and talk and go direct at what mistakes they're making. If it's an Enneagram 3 or 8, an 8, and they're a challenger and they're already like, just tell it to me straight. Just tell it to me straight. Fine. You can just go right at them. Like, all right, Sarah, cut the shit on this. Cut it.
Yeah.
Cut it. That's fine. She'll be like, got it. An Enneagram 1 will shut down, probably cry. Okay. So just, it's like this is again, it's like an energetics play, but AI makes it so fun. The content, you guys, please stop using AI content. Please just like use your voice and tweak it and train it and train it and tweak it and train it. And the best like compliment you could ever get is, wow, I love that email. And you used AI, but it was your AI and you spent so much time on making it perfect.
It's art.
It's an art.
Oh, I love that about hiring, because we're actually hiring for a traveling educator to come with us as a world school next year. And that's interesting. Okay, I'm going to do that. Perfect. Thank you.
I love it. I could keep going all day long, but just getting people get excited. Again, ask AI, how can you help me? Just say, ask me 3 questions to kind of get an idea of what's going on in my life, whether it's a birthday party coming up. Maybe you want to surprise your spouse with date night. You don't know what to plan. You want to do some research. You want to maybe just brain dump. Like, these are all things I'm feeling. I feel I need to set a boundary with my mother-in-law. Like, be the author of Crucial Conversations. Be Brene Brown. I don't know how to set this boundary. How would they coach me right now? It's infinite possibilities. And once you start plugging away and clicking away, it just starts to come a lot more naturally.
This may be a tough question to answer, but what would you say, based on the people that you've trained, is the average amount of time that entrepreneurs save by just using AI?
Well, we have numbers. After 8 weeks, the average is 8 hours back.
A week. So after
8 weeks.
How many?
8
weeks. So so like most of the program.
2 months. After 2 months, they're getting 8 hours back.
And that's just like compound 8 hours.
100%.
Oh my gosh.
It's insane. And the cool part is it's the 8 hours of like the most manual stuff they don't like doing. So often we talk in like energetics and bandwidth. It's like, yes, it's 20% of your week, 25% of your week. But it's so much more than that if we're getting that big.
So if you follow Dan and study Buy Back Your Time, now you have this extra 8 hours. You got a fine oiled machine running in the background. What do people do with their time?
Well, a lot of it we're seeing reinvested into high impact activities. And that's the really cool part is I think a lot of times these 8-hour tasks are oftentimes it's things that were manual and they were not worth they were not worth the way your brain works and your highest potential. And I say that all the time. Like, my mission is to activate humans to their highest potential. That's literally that's why I'm so obsessed with AI. Do you need to sit there and write the job description from scratch? Absolutely not. Do you need to have a face-to-face conversation and feel someone's energy on a Zoom meeting? Yes. Do you need to prepare your questions perfectly? No. You need to ask the right questions that come to you. Do you need to take notes? If it makes sense, sure. And you like having a pen, sure. Otherwise, just have the conversation like you should. And then everything else can be automated after that. So it's like now we're really allowing people to do what they should be doing all day.
Yeah, because they're not just stuck in the mundane.
Oh, the worst.
Just everything. Like, even when I was pitching and I started using Claude a lot more, and even like going between ChatGPT and Claude, we were able to create the most epic pitches, but not without putting a lot of work ahead of time to create it, but also knowing what is a good pitch.
Well, that is the most fun part about this entire thing. I think of us right now in the Tour de France where like Pedro is taking steroids and he's out in front and we're like, Pedro sucks. He's not good. Why is he out in front? That doesn't make any sense. Well, he just got to AI first and he's just like using it. So, but the truth is that I think Lance would have won with or without the steroid. Like, if everyone had stopped taking steroids, I still think Lance was the best. Unfortunately, just the whole, that's a take. You could absolutely disagree with me. But the people that know how to build a beautiful, amazing sales page that converts are still going to build the best sales pages. The people that don't know how to build a sales page will use AI, and not going to say it's worse than what you would come up with by yourself, but we see it already. We can feel it energetically when we're reading something that's pure AI. I'm already seeing ads for AI training where someone is using their freaking avatar like for a marketing thing. I am just such a frequency person that like it's just not, that's just not me. That's just not how I'm going to do things. If I'm doing like a little mini training, sure, maybe I'll build an avatar for something to like run someone through a training. But yeah, I think it's just the way that you carry yourself, your values, and the best are still going to win because you knew how to do bad ass PR pitches. So yeah, AI just made you a machine.
It made it so much easier because now you can just plop that last pitch that crushed it and say, hey, adding more prompts, but based on this last pitch that got us in Forbes and Business Insider, I need to do something similar for this client. Here are details about Callan.
Yep. Oh, you had the framework, you spent the time tweaking it. Like that tweaking, I think we forget, like, and you know how long you're like, no, how would you improve the custom instructions to do this? How would you improve the custom instructions to do this? And it is an intuitive feel. Like it is just a feel. And then boom, it starts doing it. And you're like, yes. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. Whoa, it's doing it.
Thought of that.
It's doing it. And I think people are like, it's not working. I'm like, how long have you spent in there? They're like, I just did for like 10 minutes. I'm like, sweetie pie. Sweetie pie, honey bunch. Not enough. And one day maybe it'll be easier.
By the time this episode goes live, the Pink Skirt project will have been done. It would have been a huge success.
Incredible.
And you are on stage.
I'm on stage.
I'm so excited for you to come out here again to see it in the summertime and just see the magnetism of Kelowna in the summer.
I can't wait.
But before I go, I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
And I've asked this to you the last time you were on this show, not that long ago. When I ask you what it means to be a wild woman, what is that to you?
Oh gosh, my answer is so different now. I think the wild woman is just intuitive, untamed life force. Like you are just the version of you that your soul is like desperately trying to be, and you're not letting any person, any cultural idea, any pre-learned behavior stop you from being her.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. That is exactly what the Pink Skirt Project is all about. Callan, where can people go online to find you?
Oh my gosh. Callan Faulkner on Instagram. It's pretty easy. Callan. You'll see me probably pretty quickly. Comment if you use AI in a way or have a win. I love when people tag me like, oh my God, I used it to plan even intense things. Like I've had people be like, I just wrote my victim statement for this, for a case that I'm in and it won the case. You know, that kind of like, maybe you won't put that on social, but DM me. I have people that have left abusive relationships because they've used my AI tools to like work through them. Like that is the stuff, even just, I have the same feelings that everyone does. Like, is this worth it? Am I good at this? Oh God. So just those types of things selfishly are like the best messages ever to receive.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. So you are just the best. You're like my go-to person to recommend any sort of AI stuff. You're crushing it. So proud of you. Callan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Renee.